Coach Michael Byrd is known as America's coach. He's an expert in activating the prey drive in individuals. As the founder to the Greatness Factory, he specializes in the art of crafting and optimizing business strategies. His coaching focuses deeply on the science of activation and success mastery. Let's get to know him.
Welcome to GoGoPreneur, where Gogo Bethke, your host, interviews badass rock star entrepreneurs of the world, figuring out who they are, how they got to where they're at, and the lessons they learned along the way, so you can learn those lessons and turn it into money. Let's go get them.
Coach Michael Byrd. I'm so excited that you're here. Finally, this is in motion, right? When I decided to do the GoGoPreneur podcast, I wanted to start in the very first year, right? The people that I personally know and I look up to and get to interview them, who they are, how they got to where they at, what are the lessons they learned along the way. So this is why you're here today. I want the world to get to know Coach Michael Byrd. I got to see you multiple times in person, go to your events, been at your, not resort, what would you call it? What do you call the
Yeah, house in Florida.
No, well, the house in Florida, true, that one too. But then, what was the log cabin?
Yeah, the lodge. I call that the lodge.
The lodge, that's right. So I guess I want to get to it all. I want to get to how do you go from being how do you grow up to be a basketball coach? How do you grow up to then be a coach that changes people's life? How do you buy all of this real estate? How did you start a Greatness Factory? How do you write books? Like, what are the lessons you learned along the way? So let's go back to the very beginning. Who is Michael Byrd? Like, what was your childhood like?
Well, I was raised by a single mom who had me when she was 16 and in a very small town in Tennessee called Woodbury, Tennessee. Most people wouldn't know where that is, but very small town. I was raised by a very tough single mother who kind of conditioned me. We don't whine, we don't complain, we don't make excuses. She had a lot of prey drive, and she worked 2 and 3 jobs to make sure, that I never wanted for anything. But when I wasn't with her, I was at a baseball field. I was in a gym. So we really grew up being raised by coaches. And that's really where I fell in love with coaching. It's where I kind of had a big revelation that a good coach can change a person's life. It's where I made a decision at 15 years old, like I'm going to devote my life to being a coach. And so I actually started coaching basketball at 15 as a junior pro basketball coach. Then I was a elementary coach at 18. I was a head coach at 22 in the state of Tennessee at the second largest high school. But I fell in love with personal development, inner engineering, building the body, mind, heart, and spirit of people. And I really studied at a very deep level from 18 to 25. One guy named Dr. Stephen Covey. And Covey wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, most people go read a book. And they go, yeah, I studied that. But that's not the kind of study I'm talking about. I'm talking about I knew every word that dude wrote. I watched every VHS video, right? In those days, it was videos. And I go, when I grow up, I'm going to be like that dude. I'm going to impact people. I'm going to sell millions of books. I'm going to help people. And I said, I'm going to become the modern day Covey. And that's really, you fast forward 20, 25 years, what I set out to do and what we're doing.
And what you are doing, I saw it in action. So I wrote down the word as you were talking, inner engineering. I have never heard it put that way.
Yeah. I think when you understand that people are made up of 4 parts, a body that's physical, a mind that's mental, a heart that's emotional, a spirit that's spiritual. Those 4 parts need to be nurtured. They produce 4 different intelligences. They produce 4 different dimensions, 4 different capacities, 4 different needs. And I really became a specialist at inner engineering those 4 parts. I went on to call that competitive intelligence, which is really teaching people the science of winning at a very high level, first in sports, and now, obviously by coaching some of the top performers in the world or people who have a desire to play at a much higher level.
Where do we even start? Can we start? Can we talk about a little bit about all 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So think of it when you wake up in the morning. There's a physical intelligence, right? When you get your body to a high frequency, right? Through exercise, through nutrition, but physical intelligence also produces skills. So, you've been in real estate and entrepreneurism. The first thing I look at many times is the skill of a person, and that is physical intelligence, the discipline to take an action, to follow up, to prospect, to create, to right? That's a skill. So I look at
So,
physical intelligence as skills.
do you want me to give you a new word?
Yes.
I saw it yesterday. I have to give, I think I saw it on Sean Getty's page. He called it a skillionaire.
Yep. I like that.
So I was like, ooh, I like that because I have a lot of skills and that's pretty much what made me a millionaire, right? And then,
Yep.
so I'm a skillionaire.
That's right. And you have to become a skillionaire before you become a millionaire.
Yes.
And if you look at the people who generate the most income, they're all very skilled, right? There's
Mhm.
a direct proportion between your skill level and your income. So when I'm coaching people, some people are just not that skilled, right? They're not that skilled. Okay. That's problem one. Problem two is they don't have a specific knowledge. That would be the mind. So I want you to think of specialist versus generalist, right? I'm not really a coach. I'm really a specialist at activating the drive, the prey drive inside of people. I'm a specialist at helping people find, package, market, and monetize. I'm a specialist at building competitive intelligence in teams. And so I'm really a specialist. I have a very specialized skill set. And that separates me from a lot of the coaches out there, right? And so then I go to the heart, which would be emotional. That would be prey drive, which is instinct to pursue. I wrote a Wall Street Journal best-selling book on that called Flip the Switch, which is teaches you the psychology of activating that drive, because you can make millions of dollars and lose your prey drive, right?
Mhm.
I've coached millionaires that lost their prey drive.
So like, I call that you lose your hunger, right? What is there? Can someone get that back when they get sort of bored with what they've been doing for all of this time? Can you get that back, or is that an indicator that it's time to move on and do something else?
Well, typically we lose our energy and passion for something over a long cycle of time. We just get bored with it. We get tired
Yeah.
of it, and we need a new game to play. We need a new trophy to pursue. We need a new competitor to compete against. We need something new. And I call that going from A to B. The B changes. I've been coaching for 33 years, and I love coaching. But then I got interested in real estate, and now I'm sitting in a $7 million complex called the Greatness Factory that I built. I have plans to scale this around the country. I'm doing venture deals where I'm coaching companies for equity. I'm doing big strategic partnerships. I got into private equity plays. I mean, I call it a seat at a bigger table, right? It's
Yeah.
like going
So
from you being a real estate agent to being an entrepreneur to
yeah.
being involved in bigger deals.
So I want to talk a little bit about that because there is some. I've never knew what I wanted to be when I was growing up, right? When teachers were like, oh, what are you going to be when you grow up? And I was like, I have no idea. And my friends were like, I'm going to be a ballerina. I'm going to be a vet. I'm going to be a pilot. And I was like, I don't freaking know what I'm going to be. I still don't know what I'm going to be when I grow up, right? So I wonder if it's a personality type. Like for me, for example, just as you said, you went and studied that person that you look up to. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now. And
Yep.
I do the same thing. When I get interested in something, right, I literally go to the end. I like to joke and say I get 2008 deep on anyone's YouTube channel. I read their books. I go to their events. I buy their courses. I'm front and central. I will DM them. I will email them. I will do anything that I possibly can to learn what that person put out there to the world. So then I like to call it, I buy speed, right? Now I don't have to go and experience it on my own skin and go put in 30 years of experience because that's what that person did to become the expert. I just learn from them, right? But what happens with me is I get so excited about things. And as soon as I figure it out, then I'm over it because it doesn't feed my mind anymore, right? I need to feed my mind what keeps me excited. So do you feel like it's a trait that maybe successful people have, or do you feel like I supposed to keep it, like I supposed to be interested about the same thing for a much longer period of time?
Well, there's something that I wrote about in the book A to B called opportunity confusion. And it really affects talented people because there's so many things they could do. And they're interested in so many things. But just remember this: satisfied needs never motivate. Only unsatisfied needs. So once you achieve a goal, the motivated person says, I need a bigger goal. And what
Exactly.
that and that reactivates the prey drive, which is a good thing, right? It's like reactivation of the drive. I need a seat at a bigger table. Well, let's use the word complacency because I've been studying complacency lately, and I'm doing all these series. Complacency for a lot of people is they don't even have an awareness that they have allowed themselves to get into a complacent state. And one definition of complacency is an unawareness that allowing yourself to stay where you are is actually dangerous to your future, because something comes along in life and you're not ready for it because you got complacent. Opportunities pass you by because you got complacent. You don't have the skill set you need because you got complacent. So when people say, well, how's Go-Go do that? And why don't I get to do that? Well, it could be because she was ready. She worked the muscle. She had a skill. The opportunity came. She had the prey drive. But complacency is actually dangerous to your future. And I actually think the United States is a nation of complacency. It's a general malice of people who don't even know, like, they have more potential. They don't even know they could do something bigger. They just walk around like zombies in the world till something comes along and wakes them up. So would you rather be woken up now, or would you rather be woken up when you're 80? So,
I always feel like the fact that I was born and raised into a communist country, right? I thank the Lord that that happened to me, because I would not have the hunger today if I didn't experience that. I feel like I have what to compare it to. I know what it's like not to have the money. I know what it's like not to have a freedom. I know what it's like
right.
not to have access to food. And I know what it's like. I mean, literally everything was controlled. We couldn't watch television. There was no access to the Western world. You couldn't practice your religion. Like, I know what it's like, right? And because of that, I am so hungry to never be in that situation again, or my children not to ever experience that. And so sometimes I joke and say, I'm like, I wish that we could just take some of these complacent people, right, and just drop them off in a third world country just for 3 months.
Yep.
3 months, they would come back kissing the ground in this country, and they would go and build the American dream. I'm like, there's so much potential in this country. Everybody could have it so good but it's not their fault. They don't have what to compare it to. This is all they know.
Yeah, and they don't. That's really the point. There is, it's hard to take what you have, that because of where you came from, and put it into another person who did not come from that. And here's an example. I've got a guy on my team that spent 18 years in prison. And the dude shows up at 6:30 in the morning. He goes home at 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. And he said to me one day, well, why don't everybody work like this? And I'm like, well, man, most people didn't spend 18 years in prison. Most people don't appreciate freedom like you do. Most people don't appreciate the ability to go out and do what they want to. Most people, like, he's grateful. He's grateful to have a job, to be able to get up every day and go to something that gives him meaning and purpose, where most people are entitled. So when you think about it, it's very hard. This is why I'm so grateful to my single mom, because we didn't have a lot, and she conditioned me to go to bed tired and wake up hungry. She conditioned me that it all goes to zero at midnight. She conditioned me that there comes a time when winter asks what you did all spring and summer. Like, complacency is like an enemy. So what I try to do as a coach and as an entrepreneur is awaken that prey drive inside of people. And or if they've lost it or it's gone dormant, it's like I try to bring it back to life. And typically what brings it back to life is a new game to play, a new trophy to win, a new environment to get in, right? It's like, when people come to the Greatness Factory, they're like, man, I don't know how to describe it, but I know I feel great when I'm there. Because when you walk in the doors and it says the Greatness Factory, it's like, man, you're not going to be complacent at the Greatness Factory. You're not going to be lazy at the Greatness Factory, because we don't allow that here.
You're not going to be anything but great.
That's right. That's the only thing that's allowed. That's the only thing that's allowed here. And if you don't want to be great, you don't need to come here. You need to go to the Complacency Factory.
And you're not you're not opening any of those.
There's millions of people trying to get in the Complacency Factory.
They're already in there. They're already in there. They're not even trying to get in. They're already in there. There's no more space in the Complacency Factory. It's full. So let's talk about, we got through the mind, the body, the mind, and the heart. And then let's go to the fourth one.
Yeah. So you got the body, physical skill. You got the mind, specific knowledge. You got the heart, emotional. And then you got the spirit. Okay. And the spirit represents confidence. The spirit represents faith and belief in something, right? The people who do I'm going to use 2 words here, because when I first met you, everybody said, you got to meet Go-Go. You got to meet Go-Go. That's what I heard everywhere I went. You got to meet Go-Go. And when I met you, the 2 words that came to my mind were not confidence, but remarkable boldness. See, if you could give people remarkable boldness, that is without fear. That is striking fearlessness. Okay. Now imagine if you could give your kids one trait that you have. And if you study the habits of the top 1% of performers, remarkable boldness is one of those traits of the top performers in the world. They are not afraid to fail. They have a unique relationship with rejection. They're not afraid of being embarrassed, right? That is one of the number. If I had to give my kids just one thing, would I give them remarkable boldness? Would I give them intrinsic motivation? Would I give them my connection skills? Would I give them my ability to lock in? Would I give them my prey drive? It's hard to say this is the one I would give them, but confidence and the knowingness that you can create or manifest what you want to in life without fear is one I would go, man, it'd be hard not to give them that one.
So do you know, I actually wrote it down, remarkable boldness. Do you know where my confidence or remarkable boldness or faith or trust comes from?
Where's it come from?
God.
Yes.
So I believe that God created us all.
Yep.
And last I checked, God does not make mistakes.
That's right.
So if he created me to be this person in this life, then he created me and I am perfect for the job.
Yep.
If he gives me an idea, that idea was meant for me, because if it wasn't meant for me, he would have given it to whoever it was meant for.
Yep.
And so if I know that it was meant for me, and I know that I have the skills, because God would have not given it to me if he didn't believe that I have the skills to turn it into reality, then there is no right for failure.
That's right.
I can just act on every single one of these ideas that God gives me, and I know that I'm going to be 1,000% success, if not 100%. I always say more than that, because to me, giving 100% to something is still half-assing it. Like, you have to do circles around everybody else who's doing the same thing, right? So I say 1,000%, but knowing that when God gives you an idea, that idea is for you because you have what it takes. You have the skills, what it takes to turn it into reality. The question is, do you have the balls to take action?
Yep.
And I think that's where this is the reason why most people don't achieve their goals, is because they don't have that 100 trillion% faith in taking action. You have to meet God halfway. Yep. You can't just be like, well, okay, God, just let it show up in my bank account. No, God gives us a will and a choice, right? So if you're not going to choose to do with the opportunity that he put in front of you, if you're not going to take action, then you can't have it. So I feel like that's the reason why I know if God gave it to me, it's mine, and I'm already a winner.
Yeah, and God didn't give us a spirit of fear or timidity. So, but look at how most people live their lives. They're afraid of what other people think about it. They're afraid about how many likes they get on social media. They're afraid of somebody. See, at 25 years old, I went through a terrible breakup. I felt completely rejected. I thought I met the woman I was going to marry. I bought an engagement ring. We broke up before I got engaged. I had to take the engagement ring back, and I went through 6 months of depression, clinical depression. And let me tell you why. All of my confidence was tied up in what that one person, there's 8 billion people on planet Earth, that one person thought about me. And then another woman comes along, this beautiful Italian woman named Octavia Fontana, and she was gorgeous. And she was interested in me. And she said, look, you can't even see what is in front of your face because you're so interested in this person in the past who's not interested in you. And then she said, there is no such thing as rejection. She said, just because she doesn't want what you have to offer doesn't mean lots of other people will not want what you have to offer. And it was that day that I changed my mind about rejection, right? And as you know, I went on to marry a beautiful woman named Natalie. We have 3 incredible kids. And I would have never done that if I would have lived in the past. So it's like when I changed my mind about rejection, I changed my mind about rejection. I don't fear calling anybody, no matter if they're a billionaire, I don't care. Because I know I have something of value, and if you don't want it, it's okay. I'll just take it over to the next person. And
I always say people can only hurt your feelings if you care about their opinion.
That's right. And what other people think about you is none of your business.
They don't wake up thinking about us. Let's just start there, right? They think about themselves. But even if they form an opinion, and everybody does, they're entitled to it. It's a free country, right? Just like I form an opinion about people, as soon as I meet them, they form an opinion about me. And some people are meant to be in our lives, and some people don't. It's really that simple. Right. And in other ways, I like to say it is that I always say I start caring about your opinion as soon as I can deposit it into my bank account.
That's exactly right. Because those people, it's like that's the thing we need to focus on, right? And that is confidence. So there's insecurity without confidence. There's confidence, memory of success. Then there's remarkable boldness, striking fearlessness. All the people who do big things have striking fearlessness. They have remarkable boldness. And that's why the confidence piece of the 4 parts of your nature is so important.
Yeah. And also, I mean, Dwayne and I always tell each other, I mean, everybody goes through, we've been married now 21 years. We go through ups and downs, right? Everything, financially, all that, right? And I remember one time Dwayne said, honey, it's like, doesn't matter what happens. I live under a bridge in a cardboard box with you, right? So when you know that you have that type of security of no matter what happens, right? And then also, as long as I have God, as long as I have health, I have my friends and family, what else could you possibly, the money is great. Yes, because it buys you all of the experiences, right? But really what's valued in life is those experiences that you can take to heaven because you can't take the money,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Okay, so we covered all 4. Let's talk a little bit about the so we talked about the body, mind, heart, and spirit. Let's talk a little bit about you said opportunity confusion. I want to still go back to that one just one more time.
All right. So when I coach people today, I started noticing a pattern and a trend. And the trend was talented people reached a level of success, but were incredibly confused about what their next move was.
Is this what we call, in other words, the shiny object syndrome?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And so I wrote a book on this called From A to B. Okay. And it's 15 questions. It's a small book, but it is like a book that I personally read. If there's one book that I read, that's my own book. It's like I read this one because what it does is it forces you to get clear on the B. And the B is the ideal picture. So the B is like, okay, coach, what do you want to do? Do you want to build greatness factories? Do you want to have money labs? Do you want to coach more? Do you want to, right? It's like what this exercise does is it forces you to eliminate opportunity confusion, and it forces you to actually get clear on what I call your top 3 level 10 opportunities. And a level 10 opportunity is the greatest opportunities available to you that you are not focused on. Okay. It's like, here's a big opportunity. Here's a big opportunity. Here's a big opportunity. But that's not how the brain works. The brain works up and just tries to keep the trains running every day. It just does the same thing. So you got to tell the brain, no. Focus on that. And so I call that going from mental creation to physical action. Okay. So I have a greatness factory here, a $7 million complex. It's beautiful. It's got podcast studios, dream foundries. It's got a 109-person theater, co-working space, private offices. It is beautiful. It's in downtown Nashville. I'm in a room right now called the Money Lab, where ideas turn into money in this room. And it's like, okay, I love it. I absolutely love it. Now it's like, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want 1? Do you want 2? Do you want 3? Do you want 4? And if so, what is the next right step I could take? Is it to build the economic model? Is it to find someone who's skilled at scaling these? Is it to raise capital for investors? So what happens is people are like, oh my gosh, there's so many things to do. Instead of just going, okay, this is the exact steps. So I have people put A on one side, and A is your current position, and B on the other side, and that is where you're trying to get to. And then I go, what are the steps, the millimeter steps you need to take? Well, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. It's like these are the specific things that I could do to go from mental creation to physical action in the fastest straight line possible, right? And that is really the power of the book A to B, because it's just, it's like it really forces people to do it. So I developed a whole coaching program around this concept, A to B, called What's Next. And it's all successful people, many of them making millions of dollars, or they're running multi-million dollar companies. And they're like, okay, I've been successful. Now what's next? They may want to sell the company. They may want to free themselves up. They may want to build a self-managing company. They may want to only do something 3 days a week. It's like I really help them dial in their next big move. And I call that finding a new game to play, or getting a seat at a bigger table.
Finding a new game to play. That is so exciting. I mean, I feel like I'm going through exactly that. And it made me realize I was flying somewhere a couple months ago, and the person next to me asked me, she goes, so what do you do for a living? And I'm like, uh I don't I don't know what I do for a living anymore. I do so many different things. What am I? Am I a realtor? Am I a podcaster? Am I a public speaker? Am I a mom? Am I a wife? Am I a boss, a CEO, a VP of marketing? Like I literally have like 4 or 5 different just W-2s, right? I have, God knows, probably 20, 30, 1099s. We have real estate investments. We do stocks. We do like I don't know what I do anymore. So I think what I do now is just a serial entrepreneur. I think that's what I do. I enjoy growing. I don't want to do something that I did 10 years ago just because it makes me money, right? I don't do it for the money anymore. Don't get me wrong, I work for money, but now I don't do it for the money anymore. Now I do it for how much time is it going to cost me, and am I going to just love it all the way to the bank, right? If I'm not going to enjoy it, if it's going to feel like work, I'm not doing it. When I wrote down the A to B, I call that in my vocabulary my internal GPS, right? Like if you don't know where the heck you're going, you like your GPS can't possibly take you there. Imagine getting into the car and satellite says this is where you at, and says, okay, where do you want to go? And you don't know where you want to go. Well, it can't possibly take you there, right? So that's number one for me. Number two, I wrote down the reverse engineering. When you know where you're going, when you know your B, you can say, okay, I want my B by December 31st to the end of 2024. I have 7 months left. We are in June. This is what I need to do this month. This is what I need to do this week. This is what I need to do today. This is what I need to do this hour to reach my goal that I set for myself in the end of the year, right? So I am huge on setting goals. I'm huge on knowing where the heck you want to go. Why do you think that most people don't slow down enough to figure out what they even want? Why don't they set goals? Do you think because they don't want to disappoint themselves? So if they don't set a goal, then in the end of the year, they don't have to look themselves in the mirror to be like,
I'm gonna say that no one's ever taught them how to go to mental creation. Like I map out my weeks. You know, if you travel with me, you've been around me, you've been in my coaching programs, you would know how much time I spend.
I mean, okay, you and me are talking. I literally took like 2 pages of notes. Like I could build houses with the notebooks I have.
Right. So I tell people, most people go to their jobs, then they escape from their jobs, and they never spend time what I call meditating or thinking about their future. But they don't know how to. Like I sat in a coffee shop many years ago, and a woman taught me the concept of mental mapping. And she said the brain doesn't remember. The brain doesn't remember linear notes. It remembers pictures. And so this is why you'd see how I draw that up. So I put something in the middle, and this one was 10x actions. These are just big actions. I just call them 10x actions.
Yeah.
And then I put.
Look at what like.
There you go. So, but most people have never even been taught that. Okay, so they haven't been taught how to map out their weeks. See?
Yeah, I have to, but I also learn through my eyes. In order for my brain to really truly remember something, it's always through my eyes. You can tell me something, 30% I will remember, but if I saw it, I'll never forget it. So continue.
Yeah. So I don't think it's that people don't want to dream. I don't think it's that people don't want to set targets. They don't know how. Nobody's ever taught them how to set goals, how to go from mental creation to physical action. That's why A to B is so important. That's such a simple thing. You would be shocked how many of my clients talk about that. Like, what's your B goal?
Really?
What's my B goal? I'm in A. I'm trying to get to B.
My brain is such a little engineer. I'm like, okay, what do I want? This is what I want. Okay, how much time do we have? This is how much time we have. Okay, can I do it by myself? No, I can't. I need this person, this person, this person, this person. Okay, what needs to happen? We need to have a website. We need to have a checkout page. We need to have a right. And it's like I step by step, and then we tell the team, and then all the little ends go and make their part. So I guess I never realized. You see, this is what happens when things comes easy to us. We don't realize that that the same step of the process doesn't come easy to other people. So can we break this down super quick? If our listeners don't really know how to set goals, let's help them.
Well, I think I want to set a goal as something you would like to achieve, a target.
Okay.
So, and I think a lot of people set financial goals. It's like, okay, if my company's doing 41,000 a day, 41,667.67 on a 5-day work week, that's 833, 333.33 per 30 days. That's $10 million of revenue in a year. If you're operating on a 41% profit margin, you made $4.1 million. So not having a goal, like having a goal is like, okay, but it's not the money you want what the money can buy.
Yeah.
right? And so it's like, okay, what could you buy with $4 million a year? Well, you could buy a nice house, and you could have an airplane, and you could do this, and you could do this, and you could build a greatness factory, and you could have a house in Florida, and there's a lot of things that you could have. Your kids could go to private schools. They could go, right. It's like you don't want the money, you want what the money can buy. But if you're in a complacent state, it's like you don't even believe, you don't even know it's possible. Number one. Number two, you don't even know how to achieve it. So what you do is you just give up. So when I set goals, it's like, okay, there's something I want to achieve. It's usually it's usually a number. It's
Yeah.
tangible.
Yeah.
And but it's caused for a reason. It's like I only want to coach 3 days a week. Well, to coach 3 days a week, I got to have a sales manager and somebody managing my sales team. I got to hit my targets over here. I want this much money in investable income. I want passive income that's greater than my living expenses. These would all be on your B, by the way. B just wouldn't be one thing. These would all be on my B. I spend 3 nights a month with just me and my wife. I live at our house in Florida 9 days out of the year. I fly private everywhere I go. I spend this much time with my kids, right? It's all on your B. So when you wake
I
up,
have two full-time babysitters for the kids that travel with us.
there you go. That's my point. It's your B.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that's off limits. There's nothing, it don't matter how crazy it is. It's like in an ideal world, if I woke up tomorrow and life was as close to perfect as it could be, what would that look like? And it would look like these things. Okay, when I wake up, there's a difference between a high value of my time, which moves me toward the goal, and a low value of my time, which is activities I participate in that do not move me toward the B goal. So when you set targets, I have daily targets, right? Daily targets. I want to do something for the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit every day to reactivate my prey drive. It is true that I only want to coach 3 days a week. It is true that I want to grow greatness factories. So what most people lack is the confidence and the courage to move toward that. And then when it's not easy and it takes longer than they think, or harder, or costs more than they want to give up. And that's part of the persistence of prey drive and the intensity of the prey drive that I write about in the book, Flip the Switch.
Are you enjoying the GoGoPreneur podcast? Subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you. So I want to talk a little bit about that. My first experience with this, I got a coach back in my Real Estate One age that was provided by Real Estate One to us, right? And she asked me how much money I want to make. So I set the goal $150,000 last year. Mind you, 76 the year before was the most amount of money I ever made at that time, right, in a year. So I was like, I'm going to double it. I'm going to do 150,000. Guess how much I made that year? $156,000, literally. So I learned two things from it. A, holy shit, this works. B, why didn't I ask for more?
Yep. Yep.
Right. And I, so this is the part that I want to talk about. How do you force yours? Today I force myself to, if I can't imagine something, I believe if you can't imagine it, you can't have it, right? You're not ready to receive it, which means you have two options. Force yourself to imagine something bigger, or be content with what you believe that you're worth, right? So I usually will sit. Usually I like to face the trees or windows or something outside, not inside my house, right? So I usually face outside. I close my eyes and I tell myself, we will. I say we, I don't know why, but me, myself, and I, right? We will not get up from here until I can imagine the best possible scenario, much higher than what I feel comfortable imagining right now, right? So what do you think it is why people set lower goals than you and me would believe that they can achieve?
Exposure. All right. So there's two reasons. When when you get around bigger people doing bigger things, it opens your mind to possibility. I call it awakening the dreamer. Okay.
Oh.
Now, I know you've been out there cheating on me with Tony Robbins and all these other coaches. No, I'm just joking with you because I love all these guys because everybody has their specialized skill set, right? Yeah. And you get different things from different people. But go back to a time in your life when you were awakened to a bigger future. For me, it was 18 years old. It was actually 15 years old when I first started speaking. I had a speaking coach. One of my first speaking engagements was 6,000 people in Shreveport, Louisiana. I go, man, I think I can do this. Like I was nervous. I threw up before I went out and spoke, but I went out there and I did it. And I go, oh my gosh, like I think I have a skill, right? At 25 years old, I spoke for an hour at Dell Computers. They paid me more in an hour than I made in a month as a basketball coach. I went home that night and I go, I think I can do this, right? I started traveling around the world, New York City, LA, Miami, Chicago. I started going, man, look at how much opportunities out here, for God's sake, because I grew up in this little town, right? And it's like that exposure being around people like the Cardones of the world and speaking on stages with the Milettes and the Grovers. And like what it did for me is like, man, I'm as skilled as all these people. It's such a big world. Let's go get it. So people that don't experience that go, they've never been to a nice restaurant. They've never flown on a private jet. They've never sat in first class. You know how long it took me before I had enough courage to even buy a first class ticket and sit up in first class? And I told my wife and I said, it's like a whole nother world up there. Like it ain't even, it's like a whole nother
I
world.
I remember they brought me a wet towel. As soon as I sat down, they brought me a wet towel and literally a glass of champagne. And I was like, I can get used to this. How
Yeah,
many?
the seats. It's like this crazy.
I'm like, I will work extra hard for this type of luxury. It kind of feels nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to your question, what activates the drive more than anything is exposure. I see something. I wanted the greatest factory in downtown Nashville because the energy and the movement and look at these big windows and it's like there's people and my office is over there and people can just walk by and they wave at me and it's like energy all day, music, people coming to Nashville for dreams. It's like totally, it's like its own little city. And it's like, okay, I want that. This is what I want. And so I brought a guy down here last week that's worth, he made $55 million last year. It's worth $350 million. He's a home builder. And he walked through this greatness factor and he's like, this is so impressive. It is so cool. Because in his town, that they don't have a 55-story building and they don't have these things happening. And so exposure helps a person think bigger. It's like, okay, there's a big world, okay? And that's really the first step to activating the drive.
I remember you asked that, do you remember the first time? And I do. In my real estate career, when, so my direct sponsor is Kurt Shewell at EXP, and then Mark Z is his sponsor, right? And they invited me out for lunch. And I've never met either one of them before. And if you guys not from Michigan, if you guys don't know who Mark Z is, he has a billboard about every 8 feet on I-96, right? You see him everywhere, but you never really see him. He's kind of like very private, doesn't really go to real estate events. So I've never met him before. So when they invited me for lunch, I was ready to go for lunch just so I can meet him, right? Yeah. And so when I sat down across the table with them and they showed me rev share and stocks and transactions and all of that, and I looked at these two humans. At that point, Mark Z was just another human at the other end of the table. And I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Right. And that, like, when you are physically in the same space with someone, it just removes that distance instantly. Like, you don't look at that person on the stage anymore because they're sitting across the table from you. Right. It just becomes so doable because they have 10 fingers, 2 ears, 2 eyes. They chew their food funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're become human. And if another human can do it, then so can you.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why you got to get around those people. Mm-hmm. Like there's a time in life where you got to go. It's like when I wrote Flip the Switch. I go, I'm going to make this a Wall Street Journal bestseller. I've never had a Wall Street Journal bestseller. This book is going to be a bestseller. It's like I made a simple decision. It's like, who can help me do this? Who knows how to do it? Who knows how to play the game? Who knows how to, right? So it's like, okay, I made a decision. I'm going to quit emulating other people, and I'm going to become one of those people. If they can do it, I can do it. And it took me 18 books to come to this, right? And that's what a lot of people do. They go, well, I'll never be as big as that person, or I'll never produce that, or I don't have the skill set they have. And you have to make this double shift in your mind between how you see yourself, number one, and then making the shift to the public. It's like, I'm a real player, okay? I have a skill set. I'm going to bring that skill set to the market, and the world's going to reward that skill set. But I got to go market the skill set. I got to become known for the skill set. I got to become a person of interest for the skill set. And a lot of people are missing something in this equation. So let's go back to the beginning. Knowledge, skill, desire, or confidence. That is one of the places they're missing. And you can look at every agent you've ever worked with, Go, and you could say, she don't have the knowledge she needs, or she don't have the confidence she needs. She's got the confidence, but she don't have the skill. She's got that prey drive, but she don't have the knowledge. Like you can diagnose people, boom, it's like that. And that's why I use that theory, the whole person theory of body, mind, heart, and spirit. It allows me to quickly diagnose what a person needs to go pro.
Yeah, and also I want to add on to that with the thing is, like, you can't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 11. right?
Right.
Because 10, 20 years went by in the middle. And in those period of time, if they've done the same thing over and over again, they have a skill now that they can do it with their eyes closed, swimming backwards into other languages, right? So as soon as you put in that much time and effort into something, right? But I also feel like you don't even have to do as much as they did. Because if there is an expert in that field, you can go buy their course of how they became an expert and you can speed up the process. You don't have to go through 30 years of that. But still, I don't want someone who's never even spoken in front of two people to start imagining being Tony Robbins on stage, because there's a lot of time and a lot of experience that happened in the meantime. Right? So don't compare your chapter 1 to someone chapter 11. So we are almost at the end of the hour. I want to let's talk a little bit about the Pray Drive. I don't feel like we covered that one quite enough just yet.
Yeah, Pray Drive is something I uncovered at 41, 42 years old. I was at a boot camp with a Vietnam veteran. He was talking about being in the war dog division of the Vietnam War. And he kept talking about this dog, this animal that was with him that had a Pray Drive. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, what is he talking about? I never heard that. I don't have dogs, okay? I'm not that I don't like dogs. I just don't have any dogs. And so I didn't know what he was talking about. But I was fascinated by it because I could draw a correlation, because it seemed like this dog's ability to like stalk something and capture something and kill something. So I looked it up, and it said an animal's ability to stalk, capture, and kill prey. And I go, I said, that sounds like a great salesperson. They see it, they pursue it, they capture it. And I started playing around with the concept, because one of my unique skill sets is the packaging of a concept. And so I go, I believe humans have a Pray Drive. It is their ability to see something and freaking go get it. But something has to activate this drive. And so I started studying the top 20 motivational theories. I deconstructed those theories. And then I really came out with my own theory. I trademarked the two words Pray Drive. You can see it on my shirt right here. It became a multi-million-dollar concept. And then I wrote Flip the Switch around the psychology of activating that drive. Now, that produced a Wall Street Journal bestseller. It produced thousands of leads for my coaching company, speaking engagements around the world, and strong alpha male and females go, I love that concept, because they have it. They can recognize it, right? And so it's kind of something that I trademarked to go, this is who I am. I'm a guy who gets up every day and goes and gets it. I want to show you how to get up every day, how to activate it, how to have a persistence around it, how to have an intensity. So I do a conference called Activate that's September 26th through the 28th here at the Greatness Factory. I do obviously coaching around the activation of Pray Drive. I reactivated a lot of my top clients, and it's like that is what it is. It's an activation of a drive to want to go pursue a bigger future.
And that's exactly what I do. The community that I'm building, we call them Go Get 'em community, right? And that's how I end every training, right? Because I'm huge on knowledge, turn knowledge into skills, skills into money, right? Skills into people and money. And so I always tell every call we end, I'm like, go get them, guys. Now go get them, right? Like when you have that pray on the other side, now go get them, right? So it's kind of the same thing. I call them Go Get Them. You call them Pray Drive. I love it. Right. But I want to add on one. I want to talk about this one thing, because this is, I was telling, when I was introducing you before this episode, I was talking about what sticks in my mind every time that I think about you. And I quote you all the time, by the way. This is the quote that I quote you with. I remember when you said, people say they want to make more money. They don't need to make more money. They need to know more people. People have the money. Yep. Right. So that is the quote that just stuck in my mind. Like the first time I saw you presenting, I think the first time I heard you say it was at the Randy Byrd event in Michigan, that smaller private event that we did. So can we talk a little bit about this concept of the human capital?
Yeah. What I tell people is, you don't need more money. You need more people. The people have the money. Okay. Money is a piece of paper. It's really an energy. It's a currency that is exchanged between people. Money changes hands when problems are solved. Okay. The bigger the problem, the more money people pay to solve the problem. Okay. So when you understand this concept that all the money you have came from other people, you go out and you meet people and you locate their problems and you locate their ambitions and you trade something. Now, you trade your cash, your knowledge, your attitude, your skills, and your habits. That's your cash, K-A-S-H. You trade your cash to solve a problem for them, and they give you their cash, C-A-S-H. And there's an exchange here, okay? So K-A-S-H is knowledge, attitude, skills, habits. That is what you have. You go out into the world and you go, okay, who has problems and who has ambitions? And if I could use my knowledge and attitude and skills and habits to solve their problems, they would exchange cash with me. And there's an exchange of these cashes, okay? And that's really what money is. Money changes hands when problems are solved. The reason people come to me is because they want to play at a higher frequency. I bring people together. I write books on concepts and problems, okay? And then I help them awaken to their potential or go play at a higher frequency, and that's what they go do. And that they exchange their cash for my cash. And that is a Dan Sullivan a concept called total cash confidence.
I think we can drop the mic here. Everyone, you can find Coach Byrd at coachbyrd.com. You can also find him at Instagram under Michael Byrd. And Michael is spelled a little different, at least for the Europeans over here or the Eastern Europeans. Michael is spelled Micheal Byrd. So at Michael Byrd on Instagram. You can also find him on YouTube under Coach Michael Byrd. And you can find all of his books, but the one that we mentioned many times today, Flip the Switch and A to B in my Amazon store. And everything that we mentioned here today, all of the links, all you need to do is go to gogopreneur.com, find the episode, and in that episode's description, we have everything that you need to know about Coach Byrd, every link where you can find him. But also, if you want to reach him, you can reach him at coachbyrd.com.
That's right.
Well, Coach Byrd, thank you so much for being here today. I have maybe two more questions for you as a closing statement here. Question number one, which one of your habits you give most credit to? For
the habit of consistency, the ability to lock in, see something through to its conclusion. That is part of Prey Drive. The second part of Prey Drive, persistence, consistency. That's the number one habit I have, to see something through to its conclusion.
Yeah, do it even when you no longer freaking feel like it. I'm scheduled out of my ever-loving mind. And so many, like literally my Why Not EXP presentation every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, I do the same presentation. I have done it for the last 5.5 years. The same presentation every Wednesday night for 5.5 years. Do you think I felt like it every time? No. There were literally times I have this tiny little indoor trampoline, and Dwayne is like, you need to go jump on that for 5 minutes and put some music on loud and take a tequila shot because you don't even want to hang out with you. You can't expect people want to hang out with you right now. You go check your mood at the door, right? Because there are times when I don't feel like doing it. Thankfully now in the Team Go organization, we have quite a few what we call generals that they are helping now. So they're lifting the weight off of my shoulder and we're doing it together as a community. So I can catch a break and actually, I don't know, enjoy my family on a Wednesday night for dinner. So that, and then the next question I have, if someone knows you personally, because there's a persona we put out there to the world, and then there is the persona that only the people that really know us, right? So if someone really knows you, Coach Michael Byrd, what is that like quirk that they would say, oh, you do that all the time or whatever, that would kind of be funny?
I think a lot of people don't know that I'm actually really funny. I have a Coach Byrd side of me that's fun. That's a high eye on a disc profile. Like I love live music. I love to have fun. And a lot of people don't see that because they watch me on social and they think I'm always so intense and it's all Prey Drive. But the truth is, I can be a lot of fun. I can laugh. I can joke. I've got a sarcastic nature to me that people are like, when they get to know me, they're like, you're so much funnier than what people see on social media. And I'm like, I know it's just a part of my personality, but I can flip it real quick and I can be business really fast, and I probably should do a better job of showing that side of me.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for sharing so much knowledge. Again, everyone, the easiest way to find Coach Byrd is at coachbyrd.com. I'm sure you can find all of his social media from there. And on Instagram is at Michael Byrd, right? Yep. And Michael is spelled Micheal Byrd. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I know an hour of your time is an hour of your life. So I'm very thankful for you being here today and sharing your knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. Go. Love you.
Love you. Every episode, guys, when somebody's talking about a book they wrote or a service or a product, if there is a link to something that they're talking about, it is always included with every single episode. All you need to do is go to gogopreneur.com, find that specific episode, and all the links are in there, including today's episode. Thanks for joining GoGoPreneur. Keep that go-getter spirit alive. Until next time, go get 'em.